You guys, two question surveys. How many of you guys have jobs or family, not family issues, but family, or you have work? Okay, so majority of you in class. And with that, how many of these, situations or issues factors into what you would label as stress within your everyday life? So, yeah, it's a few questions. We have a few hands. So today, what I really want to focus on and talk to you guys is like how stress affects young adults and how it really affects your body and your mind. So to start off, statistics with a recent study with the American Psychological Association said that over time, younger generations and women specifically have struggled with stress. And usually, the people that are labeled the most stressful within our generation is the millennials. And in this statistic bar graph, it shows that for the reported stress level, which is up to 10, millennials have a 6 level out of 10. The populations have reported higher average stress levels and have been more likely than their counterparts to say that their stress has increased in the last year. This year's findings suggest that millennials, those of age 18 and 33, are the most stressed of any generation surveyed according to the American Psychological Association. And what these pictures show that one of the three most reasons that factor into our stress levels as millennials is work, school-related, or sleeping patterns, like unbalanced sleeping patterns. The effects of stress. Usually we do see one of these symptoms in all of us or within your peers or your coworkers. Some of the effects of the stress are muscle tension, sleep problems, fatigue, chest pains, anxiety, sadness or depression, or a lack of focus. Recently, the Mayo Clinic also published an article that says top 10 ways to relieve stress. And these are some helpful ways to relieve stress. They say some ways is to stay positive, meditate, exercise, unplug, find a way to unwind, and get some fresh air. These are my suggestions.
Thank you. I'm not sure. All right, well, your first question in the audience survey is a little bit broad and it ends up being odd. And then the next question, I'm not exactly sure what you're even asking the audience at that point. That's problematic. The stress issues that you're talking about, you kind of assume that people are going to know what you're referring to, and I think that's a problem as well. You get this information from someplace, you basically give us a source citation at the end with the last slide, but that's not really the way it's supposed to be presented in an oral presentation, and it should be presented at the time you're providing us with that information. So that's a mistake that needs to be repaired. I think that's a topic that's appropriate for the audience. I do think that you've got some interesting information here, but the way it's been set up seems like it's very quick and a little shallow in the way you're providing the information. The study that is getting referenced, comparing the different generations and the degree of stress that they have, doesn't really identify what are the factors that they're evaluating and how they measured those sorts of things. And that's the kind of interesting thing that would make those statistics mean something. Otherwise, they're just numbers up on the page. So you need to do something to explain why these things matter and how this has some kind of impact. There are no individual examples. There are no stories that go with this. It's it's barely the kind of information that you'd get from a brochure. It's not even quite that detailed. It just feels like it's such a thumbnail sketch of some stress issues that it's never really develops much as a speech. You're presenting solutions to the stress without even explaining what the stress is, and the solutions never get any explanations, no examples, no demonstration that those solutions would have any impact. It's just sort of we're supposed to accept it because you've got it up there on a slide, and I don't think that that's enough to be convincing. The images are okay. Like I said, I think that the bar graph that you have is not a useless piece of information, but it needs to be explained a little bit more. The visual references that you had on a couple of the solutions, I like the idea, but they come and go so quickly that it seems like it's a passing thought as opposed to something that's been integrated in the speech. So you have to work, I think, a little bit more effectively on that. You are kind of standing to the side. You never really step forward to engage the audience. There's some limited gestures. Your facial expression and eye contact are satisfactory, but again, I don't think that they really feel engaging. They just seem to be perfunctory. Your voice is a little quiet. Your pitch, though, there's a little bit of variety in it when you're talking to us. I didn't notice any problems with your enunciation or clarity. The pace does feel rushed. For some reason, I hadn't started the timer when you started speaking, so I can't tell you exactly how long it runs right now, but when you watch it on video, you'll be able to tell. I'd be surprised if you made it 3 minutes into the presentation. It really feels like it's barely getting started before you're done, and I think that that's a little bit of a problem. All right, thank you.